Good morning, everybody, on this very bright, sunny day. Welcome to Cabinet. My name is Justine Thomas, and I am chairing the Cabinet meeting today. This meeting is being recorded and held in person at County Hall and is also being streamed live on the Council's YouTube channel. This meeting may be filmed, recorded or photographed. Anyone wishing to do so must inform me and ensure that it is done in a way that's clearly visible to everyone present. The wishes of any individual not to be recorded or filmed must be respected. If the alarms sound, we must evacuate County Hall. In the event of an emergency, please make your way to the nearest exit and meet at the muster point, located in the main car park. Item 1 then is to receive apologies and details of any substitute members attending, and I'll ask the committee officer to provide us with details of apologies and substitutions.
We have apologies today from Councillor Kabir Kerr, who is the Cabinet Member for Business, Skills and Agriculture.
Thank you very much. So we'll go on to item number 2, minutes of the previous meeting. Do Cabinet members have any points of accuracy, to raise about the minutes from the 29th of June?
We can move the minutes.
Thank you. Does the Cabinet agree to confirm the minutes as an accurate record? Yes? Okay, thank you very much. Item number 3, declarations of interest. Do members have any interests to declare related to any items on today's agenda? No, that's a no. Thank you very much. Item number 4, matters referred to Cabinet by select committees or full council. There are no matters that have been referred on this occasion. So we'll move on to item number 5, update from the leader or Cabinet members. I would like to ask Cabinet members or the leader if they have any updates that they would like to share with the rest of the Cabinet. No updates. Thank you very much. Number 6, public question time. So the list of public questions and responses has been published on the Council website. There are 15 minutes for public questions. 3 questions have been submitted. 2 of those submitters were eligible to ask a supplementary question but haven't attended. So they are published on the website as a matter of record. So we'll move on from that. Item number 7, local member issues and member questions. So there's a list of local member questions and responses published on the Council website. There are 15 minutes for local member questions. We have a number of members who are eligible to submit a supplementary question, but they're not here to ask those questions in person. So therefore, questions can be found on the website where they're there as a matter of public record. Number 8. Item number 8 is appointments to internal and external bodies, and I would invite the Cabinet member responsible, who is the leader, Councillor David Bick, to outline the report. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Whip. In introducing this report, I think it's very straightforward. All the appointments have been made with the exception of those who are still to be advised by the Green Party. I therefore recommend the report to Cabinet.
Any questions?
Very happy to second that.
Thank you. Everybody happy with the report? Yeah, happy to note the recommendations. Thank you. Okay, moving on. Number 9, Compliance and Enforcement Policy Annual Review. This is a report by Derek Ward on behalf of the Cabinet member, Councillor Scott Hussey, and I would ask Councillor Hussey if you would like to introduce your report, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. I'll just take you through the executive summary for this report. Basically, this is a yearly report and there's been very minor updates this year. Norfolk County Council is responsible for a range of regulatory functions, including flood and water management, land drainage, highways, includes networks maintenance and blue badge enforcement, Norfolk Fire and Rescue Service, including fire safety, planning enforcement, mineral and waste sites, and trading standards, which includes safety of sports grounds. Each area of work uses different legislation to secure its aims, and each has its own framework of regulations, codes of practice and guidance. The compliance and enforcement policy and associated performance data are subject to annual review by members. The policy has been reviewed and updated to reflect changes to legislation and guidance, with this year's review resulting in very minor changes, mainly for clarification, simplification. A revised compliance and enforcement policy and associated guidance documents have been produced, incorporating these changes with the proposed amendments highlighted. So the recommendation is to approve the revised compliance and enforcement policy at Appendix A, including its annex documents. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Hussey. Any questions for Councillor Hussey? No questions. Therefore, we're being asked to approve the revised compliance and enforcement policy at Appendix A, including its annex documents. Can the Cabinet members signal that they approve the recommendations? Thank you very much. Okay, number 10, Finance Monitoring Report 2026 to 27, P3, June 2026. I will present this report that has been compiled by the Section 151 officer. So this item deals with the latest Finance Monitoring Report, and it provides Cabinet with an update on the Council's latest forecasts for the 2026-27 revenue and capital position as at period 3, June 2026. Overall, the Council continues to forecast a balanced revenue budget position for the financial year. This is a positive position at this stage of the year and reflects a significant work taking place across all directorates to manage demand-led pressures whilst maintaining services for Norfolk residents. Within that overall position, there are some important areas to note. Firstly, Children's Services is currently forecasting an overall balanced position, while the service is reporting underlying pressures of approximately 3.4 million, which you can see at Table 1 on page 134 of the report. These are being offset through mitigation measures and management actions. Cabinet should in particular note that there remains a potential risk around the achievement of the full 6.9 million placement savings target, which you can find discussed in the commentary at page 134. However, I'm pleased to say at this stage the service remains confident in delivering a balanced year-end position. Norfolk Fire and Rescue Service is forecasting a net overspend of just over 1 million, which you can find at Table 1, page 134. This position shows after taking account of the 0.685 million budget uplift for 2026, which was approved by the leader in June. Without that transfer, the forecast overspend would have been approximately 1.7 million. The principal driver of this pressure is increased operational activity and demand within the service. The service remains committed to reducing the forecasted overspend and will be enhancing its current expenditure control process, which means the service will be introducing tighter levels of financial controls to reduce, delay and prevent non-essential spending, with further details provided in the commentary on pages 135 to 136. This pressure is being offset corporately by an underspend in Finance General arising principally from favourable Treasury management forecasts. As a result, the Council's overall position remains balanced. In relation to the capital programme, the report provides details of ongoing management of the programme to ensure that planned expenditure is aligned with realistic delivery timescales. As part of that process, 35.2 million has been reprofiled from 2026 to 2027 into future years as detailed in the report, ensuring the programme remains deliverable and financially robust. The report also contains a number of recommendations for Cabinet and Council, which are set out on pages 127 to 128, and these include increases to the capital programme, a capital programme environment of 2.78 million from the Eastern Hub to fund the Gressonell Museum project, acceptance and incorporation of 6 .01 inclusive mainstream fund grant from the Department of Education, the appointment of directors to county council companies where required to support governance arrangements and best practice, and the write-off of debts that are no longer considered recoverable in accordance with the council's financial procedures as set out in the report. Cabinet is asked to note a correction to the report in that the total debt write-off should be £250,240.83, reflecting the line item details in the table on pages 152 to 553. The published total quoted in the report and the recommendation of over 114.6 thousand related to the write-off for June 2026 only. So for the avoidance of doubt, decision for the Cabinet this month is to approve the write-off of £250,240.83 of bad debts over £10,000 as set out in Appendix 2. Overall, the report confirms that while there are significant pressures in some service areas, particularly around demand-led services, the Council continues to manage those pressures effectively and at this stage of the year expects to maintain a balanced overall financial position. Thank you for your patience, Cabinet. Does anybody have any questions?
I have a question. I was just wondering what steps have been taken to strengthen oversight of council's major contracts as to reduce or avoid incidents of overspending.
There is a reference to procurement in the report, actually, but perhaps Councillor Butler.
Yeah, thanks for the question. I think I did allude to this for council at the previous budget. We're now in a position of rolling out the Gateway framework. The Gateway framework is basically a five-stage way of actually managing the whole of major contract procurement. And it starts with the first stage being what's the business case for this? We have had evidence in the past of the council going off on procurement exercises for things that really hadn't properly, clearly had a business case for them, or certainly wasn't done at a robust enough level. So that Gateway framework will be rolled out for all major contracts. We're just in the process of agreeing what the level should be, and then there will be gold, silver, and then what we call bespoke. So gold will be the most either the highest cost contracts, or the ones that have the potential to have a massive impact, even if their cost is not high, for instance, on operational delivery of children's services or social services or fire services. And a key component of the Gateway, and again another failing we found in previous contracts, was one of the stages in the Gateway where we're actually looking at how viable is the budget. So for instance, the Castle project budget was just ridiculous for a grade one monument. Anyone who's had any building work knows it goes over a normal house. So God knows what it's going to do with a grade one listed castle. But the other issue that the Gateway will help us address is in the past we haven't actually had enough robust analysis and pushback and oversight on who is actually managing these contracts. So it's all very well having a named person, and that's very important, but does that named person have the capability? So we have a signals contract recently been awarded. We retrofitted Gateway onto this, and we identified the key officer involved in overseeing that contract is highly capable and has a history of doing very good work on delivering quite complex contracts for highways on time and pretty much within budget. So it's early days. All new contracts will be going through this, and we are retrofitting any that are due to have a key decision in the coming. So again, it's part of a series of sort of evolving and putting in place sensible structures to make sure that we don't go down the wrong path to start with, that we have the right budget to start with that's realistic, and that we have the right people who've got the capability to monitor and manage these complex contracts. But we still have, at Cabinet level, the ability to bring in the framework where we believe it should be brought in, even if the spend is relatively modest.
Thank you, Councillor Butler. Any follow-up question, Councillor Dickerson?
Thank you.
Any other questions from Cabinet on the finance report?
Yes, I have a question.
Councillor Taylor.
The Council's currently spending £73 million a year on the Home to School Transport programme. I'd like to know what plan the council has in place to reduce this cost, please.
I think that's more of a service issue. Perhaps Councillor Atkinson, thank you.
Lovely. Thank you, Chair. Thank you for the question. Home to school transport is an area that we're currently in the middle of a deep dive into, trying to look for efficiencies in that area. Some of the key parts of that we're looking into in more detail are the provision of transport for post-16s. We're also rolling out some new software to help with route planning to try and make that more efficient. We've got a new procurement exercise looking at producing savings, so we're hoping that that will deliver something in that area. And we're also looking at how we deal with discretionary applications and appeals. So again, those are just 4 of the areas we're looking into on this whole home to school transport as a big piece. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Atkinson. Do you want to follow up, Councillor Taylor?
No, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions on the finance report? No? Okay, so the recommendations that you are being asked to agree can be found on page 127 to 128. There are 9. Number 1, to recommend the Council the net addition of 4.191 million to the capital programme, which comprising the following amendments: 4.138 increase in the section 106 developer contributions to children's services capital budgets, a 0.3 million increase in external funding for Kings Lynn South Fire Station project, an offset by 0.2 million reduction in the school's ICT budget funded by NCC borrowing, and a 0.054 million reduction in external funding and a 0.007 increase in revenue contributions for various highways. The second one is to note the revised current and future 2026 to 2030 capital programme, which is set out in Appendix 3 and includes 35.276 reprofiling undertaken in P3. The third recommendation is to delegate to the Director of Procurement and Sustainability to undertake the necessary procurement and tender processes to deliver this revised capital programme in accordance with the delegated authority requested on the 6th of April this year in the Authority to Enact Procurement and Contracting Requirements paper. Item 4 for recommendation is to approve the receipt of the Inclusive Mainstream Fund of 6.016 million from the Department of Education as set out in Appendix 1, paragraph 5.4. Recommendation number 5 is to recognise the period 3 forecast revenue of a balanced position, noting also that executive directors will take measures to reduce or eliminate potential overspends where these occur within the services. Item 6 is to recognise the period 3 forecast of 100% savings delivery in 2026-27, noting also that executive directors will continue to, sorry, I've repeated myself, sorry, I do apologise. Number 7, to note the forecast general balances at the 31st of March 2027 of 30.697 million. Number 8, to approve the write-off of £114,655 of bad debts over 10,000 as set out in the paper. And finally, to approve the appointment of directors to Norfolk County Council-owned companies and joint ventures as set out in section 2.2 as required by the Council's financial regulations. Phew, a lot of recommendations. So can Cabinet members indicate if they are happy to approve the recommendations in the report, please? Thank you very much. They are approved. So, the final item on the agenda is item 11, reports of the Cabinet member and officer delegated decisions made since the last Cabinet meeting. And this agenda item is simply to note that these decisions have been taken. So unless anybody has any objections, we'll officially record that they have been noted. That concludes all the business of the meeting today. Not a huge amount on the agenda, but there are plenty more coming up next time, and that will be on Monday, the 7th of September. Look forward to seeing you all then. Thank you very much.